This is a show about facing fear, unlocking courage, and taking action.
Courage isn't necessarily a daunting thing.
It's going to give you more purpose. It's going to give you more drive.
It feels like making a courageous decision is going to get you closer to who you aspire to be.
It's knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage.
My whole life I've kind of been, not a pushover, but like, oh, I want everybody to like me. And like, I don't want people to dislike me. It's like, you have to put that aside and say, okay, we're on a mission here to do something. And in order for it to work, everybody needs to be bought in. And so I think it made me really tough. The last 2 years made me tough.
I absolutely love when I can bring on friends onto the show. We're doing memory lane here. By the way, my guests, by the way, I mean, if you think back, you had me on your show.
Yep.
Who knows how long ago that was?
I mean, let's see, probably had to have been a decade ago. No.
7,
yeah,
8
maybe.
years. Maybe, yeah. It's been
8 years ago.
8-ish?
Yeah.
Feels like a lifetime, which is a good segue into where we are. But do you remember who introduced us?
Of course I do. Lori Keith.
Lori Keith, VP of Ad Council. And she's still, by the way, how cool is her life?
She's still at the Ad Council, gets to do all sorts of cool things, speak at all sorts of cool events, you know? Yeah. Lori's great.
I was wondering if you were going to remember who actually connected us.
There are very few things that I forget.
All right, so let's call this. I was going to finish. The other thing that I love is it's even better to bring on friends who are officially retired.
Yes. Well, for I don't know how long that'll last.
Let's enjoy. What has it been? A week? 48 hours? How long has it been?
It's been like a couple days.
Okay, so let's tell you. So look, although this will run in a few weeks, so it'll be about a month. You'll probably have a new title of CEO of some new company, but it's been really, really cool to be on the sideline watching your career. And for those who haven't properly stalked Jeff Ragovin, CEO of Semasio before, but really for me, like I remember you as like Buddy Media, selling it to Salesforce, I think Social Native.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, I should probably thank you.
Oh, the Digital Forks too.
To me, I'm thanking you because of Digital Fork, right? Yeah. And I would not have been invited to Digital Fork probably if we didn't have a relationship. But Digital Fork was this amazing dinner series.
Still is. I think I just had like the 60th dinner.
All right, we're gonna have to get into that, but let me finish thanking you. Okay, if it wasn't for you, I'm pretty sure I never start working with Kraft Heinz. And I
love that.
About 1,000 days, we had probably 1,000-day run. No, it's still going with Kraft Heinz, and it's because I met someone on the internal comms team at a dinner in LA, and actually, I'm going to share part of the story. I'm going to save the name. If you really want to do detective work, this is so cool, Jeff. This is ridiculous. Like, I love it. So we hit it off at the dinner. We did one of your funny. She was my partner in one of your funny icebreakers.
I think, by the way, that was the mannequin challenge dinner.
It was the mannequin challenge dinner. So if you go back to that video, I
looked at that the other day, and I'm like, that was so funny because we had to do it so many times because we had to stay still.
Yes,
with the wine and the cookbooks and everything.
All of it. And so we do the mannequin challenge, and my partner in that mannequin challenge is the person I'm talking about. And at the time, she's at IHOP. And Jeff, I kid you not, like I love her. She's the best. She's in LA, but she's unhappy at IHOP. And for about 6 months, she keeps trying to bring me into IHOP. Like I want to bring courage into IHOP. I don't mean to vilify IHOP. But at some point, I'm like, I have really good advice for you. She's like, what? I'm like, stop trying to bring me into IHOP. Like, I don't want to work with people that aren't ready for courage, if they're stuck or scared. And if I'm too much of a sell, like, how about go find something else? And when you get there, if it makes sense, call me. If not, we can just be friends. And that's cool too. 6 months go by. She texts me and she's like, please call me immediately. Like, all right. She's like, I'm at Kraft Heinz, the new president. The theme for the year, it's like January. The theme for the year is choose courage. I need 80 books. You're going to do this courage conversation. And like, that's how I met Kraft Heinz, and it's been, love ever since. And here we are working with them. So I should thank you, and I should probably
That's, by the way, that's exactly what the digital fork is all about. Like, that is exactly the premise. It's bringing really cool people together to have an amazing meal, but it's all about community, right? And like, my two rules in that dinner is no politics and no selling. Like, I don't want anyone selling. Like, we're there to have a good time, and we're there to like authentically meet each other and understand each other. And like, the selling comes later, right? You do that later because you get to really actually know somebody, right, for who they are. So you nailed what the whole concept is about. Like, that's why I love doing them so much.
it was a blast. There's still like 4 or 5 people I talk to from my dinner, and it's not, it's not like we get on a Zoom. It's just like random
No, of course.
moments.
Relationships that you keep going. I mean, think about, like, I've had 60 of them over the course of the last 7 years. And so I've met so many amazing people that they're like, let's do a digital fork in like the Caymans or Turks and Caicos. And I'm like, I would love to.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay for it? I pay for all the dinners, So I thought it would be an amazing thing to do. But there's something there, I would say, down the line we could figure out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's off camera.
I'm sure with our brains we could figure out how to do something like that.
Well, I don't know if it's ever since you're retired, but you look great since you've been retired. Like, what's your secret here? What's going on here?
Well, I mean, I've been retired like 2 days, right, officially. But it's really been about this. The past 2 years have been extremely challenging. It's been a challenging, I'd say, last 12 months for a lot of people with everything that's going on with the global climate. But also, if you look at what happened with the election, like, the markets are crazy right now. So it's like, yeah, everything's in the green, but it hasn't been like that for a long time. And so, very difficult to raise money, very difficult to get capital the last few years. And so the only thing that really kept my brain in the game every single day, because we had like curveballs thrown out from every direction, is getting up at 6 a.m. every fucking day and working out every day. And there's even today, I worked at, it rained today here in New York. We haven't had rain in 50 days, by the way. It's the strangest thing I've ever experienced in my life. And so it's, I don't have to go into the office. I don't have to do any calls, but I still, got up at 5 a.m. I got in my car. I drove to Sag Harbor to the post house, which I'm actually repping their hat right now. And I worked out in the 6 a.m. class. I didn't have to, but staying in that routine. But I think the main thing that I kind of slimmed down like 25 pounds is I cut out sugar completely. No sugar. And so I'm trying to tell people too, guys, you can do this without medicine. You don't need to go on Ozempic. I'm not shaming anybody for on Ozempic. Some people need it. But if you have a better lifestyle with food and you work out every single day, right, and you don't eat the bad stuff, you're going to lose the weight.
I mean, between Digital Fork and this, I kind of sort of sense your next business opportunity. Just saying, if that's where you want to go.
I still eat really good stuff. I still have butter and, I still cook with all the great things, but it's just a matter of I was never a runner, right? Last year, I think after 2 miles, I was out of breath. The other day I ran 9 miles, no problem.
Wow.
I wasn't going fast. I was doing a 12-minute, pace, but 9 miles, I'm in my mid 40s. I think that's pretty good, especially for not being a runner my whole life.
It's so funny. I've done 1 half marathon, and it was.
I'm going to do that.
It was well, I have no doubt that you're going to do it. If I could do it, you could absolutely do it. But I can still see myself when I committed to it. It's actually this massive surrender that I needed to do. And I don't know if it was my own ego or maybe everyone feels this, but I remember when I first started training, I'm I'm going to suck at this. I have to who gives a shit what anybody thinks? I just have to start,
who cares?
And I'm going to go super slow, and someone's going to drive by me on the street that knows me and see my slow ass going. And I have to be okay with that surrender. Jim is the same way. When you finally and by the way, what a surprise. We all need help. When I finally was I need help. I need a trainer. I want a trainer. Yeah.
I want a trainer.
Get a trainer.
I got a trainer. By the way, I got a trainer. I have this trainer in Florida, Michael. We FaceTime in my gym. He's just on the phone, but he keeps me accountable. And I actually haven't seen him in a couple of weeks. He's probably mad at me because I've been going to the post house or berries because I want to change it up a little bit. It's
Right.
like
Yeah.
you want to change your routine so that your body can actually adjust to it. But like, there's so many trainers that you can get at home now. Like everything's digital, right?
It's crazy, dude. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
But by the way, you just said something really interesting about surrendering your ego. Did you say that?
I think that's what I said. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we can talk about it on the show. Are there any guidelines on the show that we can and can't talk about?
No. In fact, I mean, I'm also just realizing, I don't know if I can or can't talk about it. I'm probably the only thing on your calendar today since you're retired.
As a matter of fact, you're not. I actually had a busy day because I'm working on a couple projects already, passion projects that I'm really fucking excited about. Like,
all right. Well, let's start with surrendering our ego. Carry on.
So this summer, just to talk about the work stuff, like pivoting an entire business from one sector to another. Like we launched Below 5 years ago in the cannabis industry. That was
I remember that. Yes.
We built a data business. We acquired all these companies. We raised $108 million in capital. Like we were kind of like, on top of the world. The cannabis industry imploded in 2022. Like just everything went to shit. And so we had acquired a company called Semasio 3 years ago, which was all data, like billions and billions and billions of signals. Yeah.
When you say we, who's in the we?
So like, my partners in the business at the time.
How many of you?
There was like 4.
Okay. I'm always curious of like, what's the right number? I know it's more than 1, but is it 2? Yeah. Is it 4? So all right, carry on. So the 4 of you.
So Semasio was a global data company based in Germany. Incredible platform, really kind of understanding all the signals of what people are doing online, what they're reading, indexing everything and creating, massive amounts of data segments that people could buy. Like, I want to target golf enthusiasts. I want people who are interested in this. I want people who love to fish like me. I want people who are chefs, whatever. We've taxonomies for everything. But then we also onboard people who have massive amounts of data and we distribute it across all the DSPs so people can buy. Think about it, it's like LiveRamp, but cheaper. And so the last 16 months or so, like I pivoted our business out of cannabis, got rid of all of the cannabis companies that we had purchased, sunset them or sold them, and then rebranded as Semasio, which is a global company. We're in Hamburg, we're in Portugal, we're in the UK and the US. And we basically had to do, 4 rounds of layoffs in the last 2 years. So we went from like 300 people down to 100 people. And that is the most challenging thing to do. And one of the things that I literally was like, I'm going to hang my hat on is I'm going to be vulnerable, number 1. And 2, I'm going to lead with 100% transparency. I'm going to let everybody know what is going on with the business, what our cash situation is, where we are. And it was tough. It was the toughest 2 years of my entire career, I have to say. No doubt. Like it was a battle. But the reason I'm telling you this, because you said surrender your ego. And I have a very good friend out here who was like, you need to do Bufo. Have you heard of Bufo?
No.
Okay, so Bufo is basically, it's a substance that's secreted from the Bufo alvaris toad in the Sonoran Desert. So it's 5-MeO-DMT. It's the most psychedelic substance on the planet.
Isn't there a documentary on this that's out right now on Bufo?
There's probably a ton.
All right.
They're literally testing it like in like the military for people who have like post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, it's pretty wild. Anyway, she's like, you need to do this. And I'm like, I'm on YouTube and I'm like, fuck, no, I'm not doing this. Like, this whole thing that you basically die. You basically die, essentially. And so all these videos really scared me. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. But then I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. It's safe. And basically the way that it works is like this toad. It's a massive toad, actually. It's a very large toad. And it lives in the mud in the Sonoran Desert. And in the monsoon season, it comes up to eat. And I think it mates also. It just kind of comes up once a year. And there's lots of things that want to eat that toad. And so the defense mechanism of the toad, it secretes the substance, right? Which is, 5-MeO DMT. And let's just say a big lizard goes to eat that toad, it literally falls on its back and it's out for 20 minutes paralyzed. Can't move.
Wow.
But then 20 minutes later, the lizard will literally get up and walk away and is fine. Well, it's the same thing with humans. And so you have to do this with like a shaman or someone who is trained, a professional in this practice. And it's a whole ceremony, and it's actually really beautiful. Like I did it in Sagaponack in this beautiful like farm in the middle of the summer in the Hamptons. And you have to surrender your ego. You have to basically let go. And I'm like, it's very hard for me to do that, but you basically go out for 20 minutes. Like it's like an out of body experience. And then you wake up and you just feel like lighter. It's very strange. It's very strange to explain it because everybody has a different experience. But for me, it's just like everything made sense. Like everything crystallized for me.
So it's like a clarity tool.
It just all of the baggage that I just like let it go. And like I've had some serious trauma in my life. I don't know if you know this, but I had a twin brother who was in a rollerblading accident when we were 17, and seniors in high school going to college, and he died.
Wow.
And so like at an early age, I had two options, right? I either could go this way, which is this path of, not giving a shit about the world because, my twin brother, who I've known for 17 years, was taken from me, or I could go this way and like live for both of us. And that's what I did. And so I've kind of had this, this place in my body my whole life that's very different from other people who've experienced loss. And it makes you like a much stronger person. But I think when I turned 45, I also experienced like, I don't think I ever grieved actually. Like,
Yeah.
it happened so long ago, like, I was a young adult. So that was also part of the Bufo. I was like, I kind of feel like maybe that'll help me let that go too.
So going in, you felt like it would help. It wasn't when you were actually under for 20 minutes that it bubbled to the surface?
No, I was like, it was one of you basically you go in with intentions. I'm like, okay, intention, work, right? Like this has been very traumatic for me and my colleagues, just because, literally going through a complete rebrand in less than a year, laying off people and exiting and selling the company and packaging it up in a way that we can sell it is hard. And so that was one of my intentions. Like, oh, I'm so stressed. Like it created, issues with my marriage, right? That's because I was stressed 24/7. Like working out was the only thing that would keep my brain intact. So it's like, okay, work. And then obviously my brother. And I came out of there and I felt lighter. And then I did it again, like 3 weeks later. Except that time I had no intentions. I'm like, I just want to have fun. And it was crazy. I woke up and I was under this beautiful tree and I like could see the leaves, like almost like the mitochondria, like on the cellular level of the tree. Everything, like the birds were kind of very slow above me. It was just all very cool.
Do you feel like, by the way, we clearly need a Bufo sponsor for this episode. So if you know anyone.
There's no, it's not legal.
Oh, great, Jeff. Great. We're going to get all in trouble because of this Bufo. No.
There's research and like, there's special doctors that can administer, but it's not something that you can go and find. Like, it's not like you could go into a store and say, hey, I want some flour or I want mushrooms. Like, this is not something that is readily available.
Question. You think the lizard that tries to eat the Bufo frog when they wake up has some sort of big aha moment for them other than they're alive?
Maybe. Yeah, why not?
We should do a test on that. Does it crack the lizard brain itself and make them think differently?
The lizard's like, I'm an elephant now.
What a life.
But by the way, it was a very cool experience. I was very scared at first, but doing it was cool.
Well, I mean, my true obvious question is, do you feel, I know you said lighter, when you think about your brother, like, do you feel like it let you move on and like liberate with your brother?
I mean, I was hoping that maybe I would see him or I could talk to him. That didn't happen. Maybe in a
No.
future session, right?
Yeah.
But I do think it's like one of the challenges that I've always had is like I've just been going since I graduated college. I just been building companies, doing things, keeping busy, doing dinner parties, fishing on my boat. Like I have a nonprofit called Southport Sea Farmers. I have 5 oyster farms. Like I've just been going, going, going. Right. It wasn't until I spoke to a therapist for the first time in my entire life this summer. And he's just like, dude, you're occupying your brain so much that you don't feel emotion since this happened with your brother. And I'm like, that makes total sense. Even though it was totally not like it was it's not something that I was like, oh, I'm gonna keep myself so busy that I never ever have to think about it. But my whole life has been like that. So I kind of slowed down to like let those emotions in, right?
Mm. I mean, here you are though in a moment where I mean, are quoting on the retirement, but like it is a metaphorical bufo in some ways, right? Like you do have a moment to now look up at the trees and decide, what does Jeff want to do, or what is
Yeah.
or not do. Like,
Well, I mean, I'm already working on this project, what I want to do, right? And it's like ever since the announcement came out and all the news hit, it's like I've had so many people reach out to me. They're like, "Hey, I have a great idea for you. I want you to build this company." I'm like, oh, actually, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. Like I've done it my whole career.
yeah,
Like
I mean,
now I want to really be able to focus on like all of my passions and also figure out a way that is also revenue producing with those passions.
without giving anything away,
Yeah.
like truly stay primal on this. If you're going to podiumize, I think I'm making up words. If you're going to podiumize past your passions and
Yeah.
you're going to say, you know what, pure, not like just leave the business components out. Gold medal is this, silver is this, and bronze is this. What would you have on your podium?
I'll just give you all 3 together.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And it's something I'm working on right now. So just think National Geographic meets Wicked Tuna meets the Food Network.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that.
See, but I don't want to leave it at that because now I have questions, Jeff,
Yes.
because, all right, I will respond with where my brain kind of went with giving you an out if you don't want to go there. So
Okay.
I kind of feel like, okay, when I think about courageous and what I want courageous to be, and I'm not in a rush, I mean, like I love what I do, and that's like my gold, silver, and bronze. But I think every company on the planet, you're in the business that you're in, you're a tech company, and you need to be a media company. Like you need to be all 3 of those things. And maybe I'm missing something else, and I'd be curious what your take is on that. But like,
No, you got it.
okay, so in my head, if courageous was a button on your Roku, what would the content be like? Like that's where and do it in a way that's not like spiders everywhere, like fearless television. No, like I want to make sure we're helping people be more courageous and figure out what that is for them and do it in a non-hallmarky sort of way. So when you bring your trifecta together, is that where you're going? Is this a media?
So, okay. So do you want me to like spill the beans?
Yeah, of course.
So, I live in the Hamptons full time. I've been out here, for 12 years, but I've been here full time since 2015. So kind of a few years after the Salesforce acquisition. And so it's a very different life that most people kind of they think the Hamptons and they think, oh, this like it's glamorous and like all these parties and like that's not true. It happens. There are the glitzy parties, but that you don't have to live by that lifestyle, right? Like the way that I look at the Hamptons, it's like it's the most beautiful place. There's the most beautiful farms. The water is pristine. We've got whales and dolphins all over the place, right? We've got the most incredible intercoastal waterways and bays, like very different. Like California, it's like there's not a lot of marinas. It's kind of strange unless you go down to Dana Point. Like you got a few marinas, near the LA area, kind of south, but it's all just mountains and beaches, right? Here on the East Coast, there's just so much incredible like estuaries and life. Okay. And so I have a boat. I love to fish. I love to cook. I have a lot of friends who are like, celebrity chefs who have restaurants, who have one top chef. And yes, there's a lot of celebrities in the Hamptons. And so I bring a lot of people out on my boat and I show them the experience of these incredible whales. And we catch tuna and we catch striped bass and we catch fluke and we catch blackfish and all these incredible, delicious things. And then we come back and we cook them. And I'm like, that is a show. That is an experience that everybody can do. And, I've been living that life for a decade out here. And, my friend Mike and he's kind of like I call he's like my first mate on the boat. He's a certified drone pilot. So we were out 100 miles. He puts the drone up and we had the most spectacular, I've never seen anything like it in my life. 5 finback whales in formation. Huge, massive. They're like the second largest whale on the planet next to the blue whales. They look like blue whales too. And we have the most incredible video and we posted it at the end of August. I don't have that many followers. I think I have like 5,000 followers on my fishing Instagram account. He's got like 5,000 followers on Montauk Air because he does a lot of drone stuff. That one video, 800,000 people have seen it and it's gotten over 1 million plays. Like Dave Portnoy at Barstool Sports posted our video from us and said, I would die to see this. And I'm going to get Dave on the boat to see that.
Perfect.
Right. And so like, that's the show. And so I've been like, I've been thinking about this for a while. And now I'm like, there's nothing to do. I already do this every weekend. Right. And so now it's just about bringing amazing people on the boat and then pairing us with these incredible chefs that are going to cook an amazing meal. Then we're going to have a dinner party and have a good time.
First of all, it's a great idea, but it's funny that those are the words that came out of my mouth, because when I do think when an idea is in your head and you can't shake it.
It's been in here for years, but I just never had time to like actually put it together.
But the universe has like, you've had lots of ideas, obviously, right? Yeah. But like, there's some reason why this one is still there, and I think that's a sign. Now, the reason I said it's kind of funny, we're talking about ideas. As you were talking about this, and like, I can't help but like look at your track record. Like, it's amazing, Jeff, like what you've done. Not bad for a guy from SUNY Oswego.
That's right, SUNY Oswego.
To go state school to Montauk, right? Like different sides of New York, right? Let's just call it what it is. Yeah. And like you're a tech pioneer. I don't use those words lightly. Like you've got figured out ability. You've just
I went to school to be a meteorologist. Like I was supposed to be a weatherman.
By the way, do you know Reed Timmer? You should have him on the boat too. He's been on the podcast. Yeah. He's been on the pod. He that'd be an interesting guest, and totally. He makes good TV too. But yeah. So, but like, I'm curious if you see this.
You told me about Reed also before, like a while ago.
Yeah, probably from I remember when you told me that the weather.
That'd be fun.
But as you've gone on this arc of a journey, and I mean, look, even this last round with Semasio, like from a weed company to like, have you glitched yourself on what you value most? Like, do you still value ideas, or do you value? Of course you do, but like you can kind of figure it out. Like, do you value execution? Do you value tenacity and grit? Like, has that been flipped on its head?
I mean, listen, I really did learn so many things this year that I did not know. The last 16 months put me to a very, 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 very hard path and obstacle, basically facing an insolvency like 3 times, putting the people first, right? Like that was this whole thing was about the people within the organization. We have this great technology, but we need the people, right? And so I think for me, and a lot of CEOs, by the way, they don't do this, right? Everything is like, no, we can't tell people about this. We have to keep it quiet. No, everything is about transparency in this perspective. So like truly being, authentic, not fucking bullshitting people, right? Having really tough conversations. That to me was like radical transparency was very hard. Like even talking to people that I adore and love, where it's just like, this is not working out. Like, I'm sorry. These are hard conversations that you have to have, but it also put me to kind of the test in my life. People around me where I'm just like, I'm not going to deal with this shit anymore. Right. It's like my whole life I've kind of been not a pushover, but like, oh, I want everybody to like me. And like, I don't want people to dislike me. It's like, you have to put that aside and say, okay, well, we're on a mission here to do something. And in order for it to work, everybody needs to be bought in. Right. And so I think it made me really tough. The last 2 years made me tough, very tough.
Well, maybe tough. Give yourself some credit though. Maybe it's tough love more than tough.
Love. I mean, I was very empathetic with people as well. I mean, it's all about humility. I think, having hard conversations, you can still have them, but letting people understand the reason behind it, right? I think that, I don't know, I think back at it, it's like, we let go of hundreds of people in a 2-year period. That's really, really taxing on the people who are still there. Like, am I going to be next? And so I think for me at least, I'm like, okay, we had very little attrition, like like people didn't leave. We had a couple of people left here and there, but like that to me was the most interesting data point. It's like we created a culture still. I remember on January 3rd or whatever, January 4th last year, I was like, guys, we're now down to like 130 people. We're all going to have to wear 5 hats. Everybody has to take care of themselves. If you're going to be on 12 calls a day, take 4 hours the next day for yourself. Go work out, go read a book, go out in nature, do something. I'm like, because this is the year we're going to focus on our own mental health, but also at the same time, we're going to take the company to the next level. And giving people it's a different world we live in. Like we have offices all around the world, different time zones, like people in New York, people in Chicago, people in LA, people in Florida. Right. So it's like everybody has to have their self-determination. Right. Do you remember like 2 or 3 years ago, or it was like kind of right after COVID, there was a term when people were like not working. What was that term? I forget what it was called. They were like,
I remember quiet quitting.
That's it. Quiet quitting. Right.
Okay.
I'm like, we're not going to do that, And I told everybody, I'm like, I want you to be able to log onto your computer in the morning or come into the office if you have to go in the office and want to work. If you don't want to be here, please don't waste our time. Go find a job. Awesome. If you want to be here, great. It's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. And we had people that really believed in that vision.
Maybe we'll call this, if there was quiet quitting, what this sounds like to me is loud leadership, right? It's loud leadership.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't want to be tone deaf to like you said, it's hard and you had to let go 200 people and you made a promise to yourself to keep it real with yourself. And so I don't want to be tone deaf to anyone that you had to let go, but I also want to like give you some love and give you some props. Like, did you feel, I know it was hard to let people go, but are you proud of yourself for how you handled the situation?
Oh my God. I mean, 100%. I mean, I feel like the last 2 years, it was, when I actually stepped into that role as, taking over the company, there was a moment where I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do this, right? Because I did see the financial state of the business 2 years ago, and I'm like, this is scary. This is scary. Also, with that much money raised, huge amount of capital raised, right? It's just like, well, I'm going to be the one responsible for that, right? And so I think, navigating what's going to be best for the business, navigating what's going to be best for the investors, navigating what's going to be best for the board, that's challenging. We had an amazing board of very accomplished executives, like it's like an amazing board. And like, you got to get everybody on the same page and aligned. And that's not easy, right? Because we actually had 4 offers. We had 4 term sheets over the summer. And so trying to figure out what the best path is for everyone is very hard because there's pros and cons for each of them,
Yeah, I'm still curious if you feel like, has your stance on, I mean, there's no real reason that this should have been successful is what I'm hearing, other than
God, no. Like this company would have been under like a long time ago.
Right. So other than your tenacity, your grit, your ability to get people on board, your ability to keep going, right? So this is what I mean by, if there's a weight on ideas versus a weight on execution, has that changed at all for you?
I think it's I mean, yes, it is both, but I would say the real kind of the meat of it all is the people who are around you, right? So yes, you got great technology. So what? Like, if you don't have great people around you to help execute, right? I mean, I even think of so like my COO, Kendall Friedman. She is. I've honestly never met anybody in my entire career with this like operational excellence, like
Mm.
militant, right? Even to the point where I'm like, all right, Kendall, just relax a little bit. Such a hard worker, right? Like, couldn't have done it without her, right? And then it's like on the marketing side, you got to have like an incredible CMO, like this woman, Monica Belflow, like just and kind of looking around and understanding what has happened, like losing troops on the ground, but still kind of being like, hey, we're going to do this. This woman who I work with, Marta Harding, like, who really stepped up into a senior role, kind of inherited this huge global organization. And by the way, not a fun job. Killed it. I think even on the finance side, like Connor Bruce, this guy is like, stepped into the CFO role, who was a controller. like, and so I feel like, you've got to have these people who are around you that you could count on, that you can call at literally any time, and they're going to get it done just as much as they'll call me and say, Jeff, I need this, and I will do it. If you don't have that, that's the secret ingredient, right? If you don't have that, it's very, very difficult to do. You can have great technology and great people, but you need to have that like inner core of like, we're going to war and we're going to get this shit done.
So this will probably run in December, right? So we've got, New Year's coming up here. As you think about this,
Yeah.
Let the cat out of the bag on the new idea, and there's other stuff you want to do. As you think about what you need, before you jump into all the next,
Yeah.
what's the answer? Like, what are you going to go, take a trip? Are you going to just marinate in Montauk? What do you need?
Oh yeah, no, I've got it. Like, I'm going to Prague in 2 weeks. Like my godson is in college there, and so my two best friends, Mike and Cass Lazaro, who we started Buddy Media together. Like, we're going together.
Nice.
Cole, my godson, doesn't know that I'm coming, so it's kind of a surprise. So it's like, now that I can actually go, like, it was very difficult to travel with all the stuff that was going on, but I don't know, it's felt a little weird the last few days, like, because I'm just used to going, constantly, like, emails coming in, phone calls, and like that was a very weird, like, hey, I kind of like that, I like the constant like stimulation. I do need to reset. It's hard for me to do, but I need to take like the next 2 months to just kind of zero out.
So
right?
let's say we were going to postmortem right now, and you're going to step back and go, okay, here are the three things I want to make sure I take from this last round into my next life. What are the 1, 2, 3s?
Okay, well, if you're talking about starting a company, right? And by the way, this had nothing to do with me. It was something I inherited, but something that I ultimately learned the hard way is, if you're going to raise capital, raise only what you need and do it as small as possible. Try to bootstrap it as much as you can. And then don't have a cap table of 200 people. Because I have to tell you, that is the most challenging thing, to manage 200 investors. The communication. This person knows that. This person doesn't know that. This person wasn't paying attention. This one doesn't read. It is enough to blow your brains out, right? So I think that's the first and foremost, like, keep it small. Don't give away the farm. Don't give away like all this equity to investors that maybe help you with like 2 days and then disappear. And then when the company sells, they're like, okay, what did I make? Right? Well, where have you been for 5 years?
Yeah.
That's the first one I'll say. I think, the second thing again is just like, I think the radical transparency thing is so important, and most people don't get that, right? They kind of like, okay, well, I'll let this slide, or, no, just everything needs to be tackled head on, even with like one-on-ones with people. Like, okay, this is what you're doing great. This is what you're not doing great, and do it in a way that, where you have high EQ. You're not, bashing someone. Like, take care of people and like let them know all the great things they're doing. But also, like, we all make mistakes every day. Like, I've made so many mistakes in my life. We have to make mistakes to get better, right? But also, like, letting people know, like, hey, that's not a good. That shouldn't be. You shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah.
But that you're doing is amazing. Keep that up, right? So I think the transparency is like really, really important. And then I think I would say, if you're going to have a board, right, having a board that is completely diverse in where everyone has a different role and they're coming from a different industry and they all provide different viewpoints. And I think that was the one amazing thing that I learned about our board. It's like, Peter Krause was the chairman of our board. He ran Goldman. He was at Merrill. Like, he is a titan in the finance industry. Like, he's on Squawk Box. He's talking about the markets. Like, he doesn't come from the tech side, but he's so smart. Christy Hefner, right? She's on our board. Hugh Hefner's daughter. I mean, most people never realize this. She is an incredible businesswoman. Like, she ran Playboy. When it came to the board, she was kind of middle of the independent, right? She didn't side. She's like, this is what's best for the company, right? You need people like that. So I just think putting together a board where you just have you want people around you on the corporate level, but then on the board level, you also want those people around you that are going to help you and help navigate and help with decisions and also kind of understand both sides, not just this side.
Great. Like anyone that's starting a business with the thought of scaling it is great advice, right? Don't give it away. Be transparent and make sure you've got different perspectives. Take the blinders off on the board. Well, we're kind of coming down the home stretch here, but I got a few more for you. A few more zingers. But one other thing, what's the perfect board size in your opinion?
Well, we had, I think at one point we had 10. That's too many. I think even 7 is too many. I think 6 is the right number. But if you can, I would say the smaller, the more mighty, right? Because I think also keep in mind, if you have like 6 board members that all have different, viewpoints, you can get stuck.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to move to that next step. So the more people you have on the board, the harder it is to turn the boat. You know what I mean?
Vulnerable moment time. Let's jump right into the vulnerable moment. So you really can't get to courage without fear, like they're siblings. One of the pull the Ryan Berman string lines I've always said is we're fear fighters. What is the largest fear that we've got, and let's address it versus suppress it. So here's this like really cool moment for you where you can zip out with the drones and there's a lot of think time. Maybe that's new for you, right? So as you think about what's next or what's coming or even what's coming after what's coming, like, do you still have fear? And like,
Oh my God, yes, of course. I have tons of fears, right? I think, when I was kind of thinking about, okay, what am I going to do next, right? All these people around me, they're like, you're going to launch another company, right? And I'm like, yeah, right. But there was also a moment of like, well, I don't know if I want to do that. And so I think the fear of like, well, what if I don't do that? Like, I have so many relationships out there that I've spent 26 years building. I don't want to lose those relationships. I don't think I ever will, because I'm constantly in communication with people all day long, no matter what, whether I'm working with them or not. I feel like that's why I've integrated that into my life, where I'm out to the Hamptons. Seriously, like my clients have always come out here and stayed with me. Like it's amazing. And so, but I do have that fear of like, okay, well, I don't want to, if I'm not going to stay in ad tech, like, am I going to lose out on like, the FOMO of like, well, everyone's going to Cannes or everyone's going to CES and I'm not going to do that. Like, quite frankly, it's not really all that fun. It's
well, it sounds like you chose Bufo over FOMO anyway.
Exactly. Right. But, even like South by Southwest, like not going to South by Southwest, like, am I missing out? Not anymore. I don't care. I think you make your own community depending. It doesn't matter if you show up at this event or that event, but yeah, I think that's, I think fear of failing, right? This new concept that I have, like I'm really passionate about it, and I think I have it all mapped out already. It's every day now I'm talking to people, and that's why like you would think, oh, it's been 3 days and I haven't, I'm retired, but no, I've been working on this concept, and every person I talk to, I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to integrate that too. Oh, that's amazing from like a sponsorship perspective. So yes, I want it to work, but also, of course, I have that fear of like, well, what if it doesn't work? What if people don't like it?
Yeah. I wonder if this is, I feel like you're talking it into existence a little bit. And I'm definitely a stated and created person. Like,
Yeah.
and anytime I've been afraid of something and then actually got it out of me, not just thought it, but like got it out of me, the idea almost always gets better. It almost all someone's like, "Have you talked to blank? You got to talk to this person about this, or this person knows that person, and you guys should talk because they had this idea." So that's what it feels like to me. By the way, way to really nail retirement. 72 hours in as you're like, oh,
Wait, I'll tell you this one other thing, by the way. So my friend Andrea Mitchell, she kind of runs she's like an Uber for production, right? So it's like somebody needs to produce a commercial or do this, and she's got like, this whole production company that she can bring all these people in. And she's super talented, like amazing. She also is the one who told me about Booba, right? A couple years ago, she's like, hey, she loves coming on the boat fishing. Like she'll get dirty, like cut up bait, like she doesn't give a shit. And she's like, hey, my friend Tim is coming out. Can I bring him? I'm like, of course, be at the dock at 6 a.m. I'm like, do not be late. 6 a.m. Like, because I don't tolerate people being late because it's like we have to tide, all that stuff. Like, if I say 6 or 7 or whatever, to show up on time. So anyway, she brings her friend Tim. We go on the boat. We had an epic day on the water, right? Like we were catching fluke, bluefish, striped bass. It was just one of those days of just it was nonstop action. And Tim's wearing this kind of like, dorky hat, like something like you'd see like your dad or your grandfather wearing. And like, we didn't really talk much. We were fishing. Like everyone was focused. And I was like, Tim, what do you do? Like, as I'm driving back, to the marina, he's like, oh, I'm like in production and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, what kind of production? Like, he's like, oh, like, film and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Anyway. And I was bossing around the whole day. Like, go get that line, do this, whatever. And we get back to the dock and he's like, oh man, that was like such a fun day. Anytime you want somebody to come fishing, call me. I'm like, totally. So Andrea like connects me with him and we're talking, and she comes back over to my house and we're having dinner. It was Timothy Hutton. And wow. And he was here for dinner last night, by the way. And like, I love the guy. Like we've become really good friends. And I just found it funny because like he's on my boat and I'm bossing around, and I don't think of him like that. Like, yeah, he won an Oscar. He's like been, super successful actor. His son was here with his girlfriend last night. We're, made homemade pasta and bass scallops. And like, I talked to him about the show and we did some B-roll shoot over the weekend. And like, he's like, I'm on an episode. I'm like, yeah, you're definitely on an episode.
Oh, that's so funny.
So
there's something to that. There is something to like, he's just Tim.
It's Tim. He's just Tim. Yeah.
And that's the secret. It's funny. I wrote an ad a long time ago. Remember, I come from that world. And it was like before Steven Spielberg was Steven Spielberg, it was just Steven Spielberg. And
we're all
like,
people. We're all, by the way, it's like we're all just people.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's all everybody wants to say.
I've built an amazing like friendship with Katie Couric. Like she's been on the boat. I love her. She is the nicest human on the planet. I mean, no doubt. And like, it's Katie, by the way.
It's Katie.
Then I think back of like growing up, and I'm like, oh, Katie Couric, like
totally.
But like, it's Katie,
Yep, that's
loves playing pickleball for it. Like she loves coming over for dinner parties. Like she's so great. She's just everybody loves her out here, and it's Katie, right? But it's Katie Couric, but it's Katie.
Yeah. How is your pickleball game these days?
I don't like. I hurt myself a bunch of times, so I'm like, yeah. I let everybody else play.
Okay.
I get very competitive. It's not good on the court for me.
Oh, interesting. Maybe, okay. Maybe that's the next Buffo.
I think if I could somehow control my my levels of anger.
Is it anger or just competitiveness?
Well, competitive and anger, yeah. But no, pickleball, by the way, it's like I like sprained my ankle. Like I was like on a crutch for like 3 weeks. I'm like, this is not worth it for me.
I love this is where we've sort of landed to end. I love pickleball. I really do, but I'm kind of into any sport. But
Yeah.
I do think not that textbooks are going to be around in 100 years, but if textbooks were around in 100 years, their description of pickleball would be hilarious.
Oh my God.
This little moment in time where adults that couldn't move used a wiffle ball. Like it's basically, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
It's kind of funny, actually. I would love to see that if we could fast forward to the future. And people are like, what the hell? What were they doing?
What exactly happened here in this little period of time? Well, it was a very stressful time. It's like, that's probably where it would come from. There was a pandemic. They needed to do something with their little bubble. All right, man. Jeff.
This has been fun. I feel like I could talk to you for like 6 hours.
So well, I'm coming on the boat. I'm inviting myself on the boat for sure. That's easy.
Come next summer.
Done.
It'll be an amazing experience.
Done. And, look, as you think about, this next passion, I am curious, maybe this is the last cue. So do you even think of courage? Like, does that even play? Like, is it a peripheral idea? I mean, I've heard this from other leaders before where, you're just so in it and like, you got to figure it out. Like this last business is roll up the sleeves, suck it up and figure it out. But but when you kind of look outside the aperture area, it's like, it's sort of right outside. It's not in the focus area, but like without it, you don't unlock the rest of the stuff. So, this is my perspective, but like when you think about courage, do you see courage playing in what you're doing next?
I mean, I think there's courage in everything, like no matter what, like even getting up in the morning. Right? I mean, it's like even like putting your underwear on, But yeah, I do. It's just like, I mean, this last chapter for me that required courage. I mean, there was a lot of people around me that said, just hit the eject button. Like, you don't need to do this. Seriously, go on your boat and fish. And I'm like, no, I will see something through completion and not give up. Most people, I will say, given like the exact same situation, would have ejected, like no doubt, 10 times sooner. Like this was a gruel. I mean, this was a tough one. That required a lot of courage.
What I like about it, we have these 3 levers of courage. This is nothing new to the listener, but like when I first started writing Return on Courage, and which you clearly know because you're in the book, right? But
my bookshelf right here.
All right, I made it. But we talk about knowledge plus faith plus action equals courage. And you need each of those levers for it to be courageous or it's something else. Knowledge and faith without action is usually paralysis. Faith and action without knowledge is a reckless move. And knowledge and action without faith, like if you're numb on the inside, you're working on safe, you're working on status quo. But what you kind of just taught me is there are times when you don't take an action, which is an action, because you could have ejected yourself, which I think people would understand if you did it. But by holding firm in there, it was brave of you to keep going. And then radical transparency showed up and surrendering your ego showed up.
I think also it's just like, what people don't also understand is like to lead is to serve, period. Like that is it, right? To lead is to serve the people that are around you, right? It's like, I did it for them, honest to God. Like, I'm like, I will fight till the end to save their jobs and land this thing and go to the gate and walk off the plane. And then they could continue on their course to their next destination. Right?
And at that point, I'm going to go off the plane onto your boat.
That's right.
This is going to make a great chapter in the book. Jeff Ragovin, thanks so much for joining, buddy. Awesome. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Courageous Podcast. If you enjoy the show, don't forget to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts so more people can find us. See you again next week.